going live. Should be live now. Audio is still high on the music. Give me a second. I just wanted to check the noise level, sound level of the music before I Okay, there we go. We are live. Time to work on this beast of a machine and get some 9mm belts on here, because this is a 9mm belt machine. Of course, this roll of belting became a mess on me, so I need to see about printing one of those organizers, belt storage things I can feed belt out of. I've got a couple spools of belt and they always end up like this, and I hate that. So everything sound okay? Everything looking okay? Hope all is well with you folks. I gotta get to work on this. So finally catching the Trident stream live. Welcome to it. I think this might be the last one for a couple of days, probably. A little dark. Alright, yeah, I kind of thought I might have underexposed it. It's hard to balance. 1 second. I'll address that. Yeah. Up a stop. Yeah, that's definitely better. You're right. So. You're right. That's better. Yeah, all the other lights are on. Oh, hell. Yeah, I'm waiting on the electronics panel. The bottom panel should have shipped from Send Cut Send today, so I could start setting up and laying out the electronics, but, you know, yeah. Why did you add fans for the motors? Are they like 48 volt or something? They are 48 volt. Thick boy fans today, yep. Yes, I am going to be running the X and Y RH3D, welcome! I am going to be running the X and Y AB motors at 48 volts and probably pushing the amperage on them some of the time. Maybe not day to day, but, you know, if I want to print a speedboat benchy, I'm going to push the amperage. So, I want to be able to cool them or keep them from overheating. They are the superpower motors from LDO, which are not unheard of to run hot. And then throwing 48 volts and a fair bit of amperage at them, they are likely to run hot. I know Albert 24/7 Printing was just talking yesterday on Twitter about trying to petition Jason to put thermistors inside of motors so we could like check motor temps. I was tempted on this build to possibly design a strap to mount a thermistor to the side of one of the motors or something, so I can read a motor temp. I don't know. Probably a silly thought, but seemed like it might be worth doing. I don't know. Genuine Gates belts. Yes. Genuine 9mm Gates belt. Speaking of that, though, we are going to be belting in this this video or stream, but first things first, and I'll get into some issues I ran into with the stream. So I know you're running Zoll, but have you considered Archetype? I looked at the Archetype stuff a little bit. The other, like, Archetype and Mjolnir and whatever other options are available from Armchair. Zoll seems like the most complete ecosystem to me currently from what I saw. Someone on the Discord did the thermistor on motors. Yeah, I'm sure it's been done. I know for a fact that 24/7 Printing Albert, I know he has thermistors on his motors on his little, like, speedboat benchy V0. He's got thermistors on them. Biggest thing is I would need to make something so that, like, the fan doesn't... We're going to start off with putting the other heatsink and fan on the other motor. I only did one so far. Figured I'd do the other one on stream so you folks could see what I'm doing with that. And then we'll move to the belts. Moddability and support is pretty good point. Yeah. I mean, like, part of going to the Zoll system for me was the biggest thing was losing weight. That was the number one reason I'm going from stealth burner to Zoll. I really love the way a stealth burner looks. I love it, but it's significantly heavier than Zoll. And on this machine where I'm chasing grams, it didn't make sense to stick with stealth burner. And then once I started looking at Zoll, I was like, okay, well then if I'm going with Zoll, it's lighter, but it also has a lot of Hotend and fan and a lot of options for configurations, extruder options. And so it's like, oh, well, maybe this machine can become a bit of a test platform so I can swap different Hotends or different extruders in here and test them as I need or want for my own information. Like, hey, this new extruder just dropped. They claim that it's going to push, more filament for your high flow Hotends or whatever. Let's test it back to back with what I'm running right now or whatever. So I think this is going to become a good test platform for me. And Zoll seems like a really good base for that. At least currently. So, okay, I'm going to move the second camera angle. I have the second camera angle set up so you can see I set it up on the belt setup here. And there's a whole discussion to be had about this belt setup. This AliExpress CNC gantry is a little problematic, actually. It's poorly designed. Believe it or not, some manufacturer kind of like just created this design, and it really seems like they never actually tested it. That's a whole discussion we'll get to shortly here. But first, I'm gonna get the other heatsink and fan on this motor here, but I didn't get done yet. So let me change that camera angle real quick. All right. You should have gotten a Vitali carriage. Vitali doesn't have a 9mm carriage yet. I've actually been talking to Vitali. He's working on a 9mm carriage, and whenever it comes out, I will probably switch to it. But Vitali does not have a 9mm carriage currently. So, yeah. What extruder are you going to run? I'm going to be running a... I don't know where I put it. Yeah, there it is. VZ Hextrudort. A VZ Hextrudort. Switch cameras. Boop. There we go. CNC aluminum beast here. I saw Smurf has set the date and the location. It's going to be in Manchester this year. So hopefully I will be able to attend again this year. Yes, Vitali did offer, he did say that he has the tap version, but then, yeah, I'm chasing grams on this build, so no go for me on this one. He is working on a regular 9mm, a 9mm carriage like I need for this, but he doesn't have it yet. So whenever he has it, we'll probably get it installed on here, but for now, we're going to go with this. This will work. What's wrong with this, I can make it work. It's not ideal. So we'll cover that shortly. All right, let's get to installing the second heatsink setup on this motor. So I've got these really cheapy, basic heatsinks that I got off Amazon or something, but they're NEMA 17 heatsinks. And they just mount with two of the holes. I wish they were catty corner on the holes. Like, it would make way more sense to me if the holes were not on the same side. Beggars can't be choosers. I didn't design this. Maybe at some point I'll go through PCBWay or something and design some better ones or whatever. But for right now, this is what I got. Carbon fiber version when? I don't know. I'm worried about carbon fiber in this application. I would be, as far as like strength, rigidity. I know carbon fiber can be very rigid, but in such a thin form factor, Isn't this from the old Wanhao Hotends that use this styled heatsink that mounted To the heat block and the Nemo motor, I'm unfamiliar with that design, but I would assume it was probably a knockoff of the E3D Aero, which is a different design. There are water blocks for steppers. I want to try some. I've got some right here. Boop. Boop. I've got a... Here's one of the... This is the... this is a water block from the VZBot team. This is a VZ water block. So I have that one there, but I don't want to put water cooling on this. I started mocking it up and looking at it, and it was just going to start to make my whole electronics box kind of cluttered. And I don't know that I'm going to need it. Modbot, Daniel's in the house. Welcome. I don't know that I would need water cooling on this, honestly. So I think we're going to be okay with air. I don't intend to run this thing at like super high amperages all the time. On a day-to-day basis, I'll knock down the amperage a little bit and just run it. But then when I'm doing when I'm throwing a speedboat benchy at it, well then I'll dial up the amperage and push it a little harder, you know. Like I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know for sure yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if I end up running these fans at like 50% most of the time. You know, on a normal print, probably run them at a lower speed. There is a fan already on this side, so we are putting fans on here as well. Got some thermal grizzly, thermal compound. I wouldn't usually use this on a 3D printer. These are 1.8 degree motors. These are the 2804 superpower motors from LDO. So I wouldn't usually use a thermal compound like on a Hotend or anything, but in this particular application, nothing wrong with it. You know, this is just about getting some better heat transfer between the motors and the heatsink. So what was that, Carrie? I never have time to spend a day pushing speed and tuning. Yeah, I really don't either. So I think I'll probably end up doing it in a stream where we will just toy around one day with pushing it really hard. Modbot and Mandic, really, the two creators I've heard talk about Ender 3 NG. Well, the designer of Ender 3 NG is here in this chat somewhere. RH3D is here, so you can hear them talk about it a little bit. I hope to get to an Ender 3 NG at some point. I really want to build one. I think we got Steve interested in it now too after stream the other night. Okay, I can put this compound away. I forget what size screws I put in here last night. I think it's 45s or 50s. This is a 40. Alright, I gotta get the old screws out. So I basically just got to remove the old motor screws. Nuno, welcome! I'm always limited by max flow rate, not speed. Yeah, that absolutely happens. That's a thing. I'm going to be running a Dragon UHF on this, and also trying out error. Tor, welcome. And testing out a Volco Mosque using a Slice Engineering Hotend. So I'm going to play around with trying to push this thing harder. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll end up with a Goliath on it at some point or something. We'll see. I doubt it, but I really don't want to go that far with this. But who knows? Tube. Yeah. Tube is an option. I just upgraded the Hotend on my 2.4 because I was flow rate limited on that for my day-to-day work. But I just upgraded that, but I haven't tested that beyond a few flow rate tests and like an initial test. Grab some screws here. I need a couple of 45 millimeter screws. The Ultimate Boron build. The Ultimate Boron build is getting a... I've got it here. Actually, I found it last night. The Ultimate Boron, aka what some have dubbed the LTT Budget Boron, is getting this Hotend. It's getting this whole setup. So this is this is a little dark, sorry. This thing's so dark in color. This is a full MJF printed Bondtech assembly with, you can see the LGX light extruder in there, MJF printed parts. It's got a CAN board inside of there, the EBB36, but its Hotend is a Slice Engineering Mosquito Magnum Plus. So Mosquito Magnum Plus Hotend inside of here. So, you know, like that's the Hotend in here. From there to there. So, you know, kind of big, kind of ridiculous. LSD. And yes, it is going CPAP as well. It will be getting CPAP cooling on that one. Yeah, this is basically the precursor to CPAP, to LSD, before what Simon used to run before he went to, yeah, this thing is starting to feel so large now. Like, it's just a stealth burner, but it's just looks so big outside of the machine, especially now when I'm looking at Zoll stuff and going smaller. But that is what that machine will be running, a full Bondtech Slice Engineering kit. It is not a Basel nozzle. I wish I could get one. I don't have any. Because I would love to put a high flow Hotend in that, or a nozzle in that. And I do have some hardened, I do have some of the hardened CHT nozzles, like the 2-piece CHT nozzles. A little less stealth, a lot more burner. Yeah. Basel nozzles are rare. Yeah, they're not available anymore. So that's the problem. I can't get any. There's also not the Basel nozzle, but there's another option, another one out there. I forget what it was called. D's Nuts. The D's Nuts nozzle. And that's not available anymore either. I really, because like for that machine, that project that's going on, a 0.5 millimeter nozzle probably would be a sweet spot on that. That machine is going to aim at being more of a high temperature and like engineering print machine. So a Diamondback, but I want to try and maximize flow rate. Like Diamondback would be great for the materials I want to print, yes, but for flow, improving flow with a higher flow of nozzle would be a good idea. Stupid patent stuff, yeah. I don't know where the heck all my lock washers are. I need some M3 lock washers. I had them last night. Yeah. West 3D does have tungsten 0.5 millimeter nozzles, and I might end up going that direction. Honestly, the Gamma Master nozzle from Slice that's in that now, I think it's a 0.4 Gamma Master, but I'll try and get a 0.5 from them. I'm pretty sure they have the Gamma Master in 0.5, so I'm running a Rapido, Mosquito Magnum, and Basel, and a Dragon High Flow on my printers. Once I got them to 30 to 35, I lost interest in going faster. Understandable. For me, lately, 40 has been the sweet spot for what I do. Like, I'm printing infill at 300 to 400 millimeters a second, and slower on walls to do better outside finish, but I can get the infill done pretty quick. And 40 seems to be the sweet spot for me right now. My X1 has the E3D high flow Obsidian. That's pushing 40 on ASA. And then now what I've upgraded my 2.4 to is also pushing 40. And I've been pretty happy with that. In my very limited testing. I've got a handful of prints off of it so far. Where the heck are all my lock washers? I just put this together yesterday. I swore I had a whole bin of just lock washers. The fitment for this going together, I figured out last night that using this heatsink like a lock washer helped the spacing to be just right. I just don't know where the heck I pulled lock washers from yesterday. Christian, building on a Trident again. Yes, welcome. Christian, if anybody who's not familiar, is the designer of the stealth skirts that I have on here right now. What do you think about nozzles with non-stick coating? I haven't had a ton of luck with nozzles with non-stick coating. I've not found a big benefit. Like the Obsidian coating for wear resistance, sure, but I haven't seen a lot of the non-stick factor of it. But I have had luck with this. The plastic repellent paint from Slice Engineering. You paint this onto your nozzle. You can put it on any nozzle. And I've actually seen a benefit from this stuff. I've been happy with this. So they sent me this with like a Hotend at some point or whatever, and I've been using it on a couple of machines, and it's shown some real benefit. So you created the pass-through design. Cool. Cool. Okay, this is really dumb. Try to look where the heck. Oh, it's a little baggie of them that came out of one of the bins. I knew they were here. So far, I've been finding it to actually help more than coated nozzles that I've tried. So I haven't tested like a ton, but I printed some PETG, and I find ASA can stick to the nozzle and clump on there a little bit sometimes, and I've definitely noticed a decrease in that problem using that. So I've started putting it on nozzles when I swap nozzles in. Pliers. This design is like a little too tight around the fins where the screw goes in. So I gotta like open them up just a bit. Not ideal. How quickly do you get diminishing returns and trying to chase down the perfect IS graph? Very quickly. My IS graph on my my 2.4 looks like hot frickin' garbage, and honestly, the machine prints beautifully. It's the machine I print with the most on a daily basis, so like it's really hard. Like, I get it. I would love to improve the graph on it and try and chase it, but not doing all-wheel drive on this build. Nope, not all-wheel drive. I forgot to swap nozzles and widened out a nozzle on some PCCF. Well, that happens. Jose, welcome. Yeah, this is just two-wheel drive. 9mm belt, two-wheel drive. Welcome. Oh, that's a reminder now that Jose says hello. If you're not already, please consider subscribing to this channel. This is not the Mandic Really channel. It's Mandic Labs, the live streaming and like a little more tech side of things. This is a 300 cube build. I wanted to build a 250 and Jason sent me a 300 kit. Thank you very much to LDO Motors for providing the kit that is being used to build this machine, as well as Fabrico for the 9mm double T belt setup. Links in the description to those folks who help make this content possible. But yes, it is a 9mm belt setup, not all-wheel drive, just two-wheel drive, and a 300 build. I requested a 250. Jason sent me a 300, and what was I going to do? Be mad about him sending me a bigger machine? I specifically wanted a 250 because I wanted to push this machine fast. So one of the smaller build volume for shorter belt paths to try and chase speed a little bit on this machine. Sent the 300. I'll make more use of the 300 anyway. Like, I find 300 to be a really good sweet spot for my work. I could use bigger machines, absolutely. But it's still 300's a really good sweet spot. Are you going to use clip-pane, shake and tune to get it that speed benchy ready, or the thing speed ready? I found it convenient over manually moving graphs. I haven't played with clip-pane yet. I've heard great things about it. I've heard it's been suggested to me numerous times. Haven't done anything with it. So we're going to be trying to chase this thing down a little bit and see what we can do to improve things here and there. Push it a little faster and work our way up to trying to print some pretty fast stuff with it. I'm not expecting this to be any record breaker by any freaking means. Just be maybe the fastest printer I currently have is all. So it's not necessarily saying a lot. I really wish these had crisscross pattern on them. Oh, I'm not showing you folks what I'm doing here. So I have screws going through this heatsink up into the motor, going all the way through the motor, of course, to the top to thread in. I'm just tightening it up so that it can squish the thermal paste between. Shake tune. I've heard a few folks mention that on stream recently too. Can indicate mechanical issues in your belt path and let you know to tighten some bolts. I mean, maybe I should try that on my... I'm figuring soon enough, when I get some parts probably from Vitali, I think I'll be doing a overhaul on my 2.4. My original 2.4 really needs a little maintenance, I think. Yeah, my 2.4 needs a little maintenance, and that might be a good tool to test out there. God, I feel like this isn't tightening up as much. This is where it really needs like a crisscross pattern, because it really feels like as I'm tightening these back two screws, this heatsink is kind of like that. It's not pulling tight up against this thing, but it's what I got right now. Like the water block from VZ Team goes in a crisscross pattern. So, yeah, I'm well aware of the current speed leader is an Ender 3. Impressive to say the least. This machine, I want it to be fast. I don't expect to set any records with it, but I want it to be fast for when I need a fast machine. Like when I'm in the middle of a project and I need to get a prototype done ASAP so I can do a production run, then I need a machine like this so it can pump out a prototype ASAP, and then once I confirm my prototype's good, I can go to other machines. Could you not drill out the holes for the heatsink? Absolutely, I could. I don't feel like it. It's gonna work. Like, it's doing something. If I start running into cooling issues or some other problem, I'll address this. For all I know, we might end up going water cooling on this thing at some point. Okay, so that's that. Now we've got the cooling. This is from Double T, the designer of the this fan mount. Double T sent me this, so the designer of the 9mm belt setup that's on here. This is also from them. Just so happens that the design has this really solid, like, stealthy look to it that matches the stealth skirts on this build beautifully. So, just meant to be here on this setup. Really happy with that. Are you going to monitor temps on the motors? I'm very tempted to. I'm really tempted to strap a thermistor to the side of this one probably and monitor temps on it. So there's a good chance I might do that. At work, we found printers are so fast and reliable now, the biggest time waster is not thinking through the design properly. Totally. And that's still a problem I run into from time to time. Definitely a problem I run into from sometimes, but usually I find when you realize where your mistake lies in the part is when it's in your hand after it's done printing. So, do you think the motors might have give you some more chamber heating? Yes, I'm also expecting that. As much as anything, a part of running fans on these motors is that. I also think that blowing over these motors and circulating the air around the chamber a little bit is going to help to at least possibly bring up chamber temp, at least stabilize chamber temp. There's also going to be a nevermore blowing from the bottom up to circulate air inside of chamber. So yeah, it might have a bit of a heating effect. I'll design a stealth can cup once this is done. That's not a bad idea. I've got a new can cup design I need to make some time to work on. Oh, Oh, my neck is so angry right now. I don't know why. Been stretching every night, every day. Tried a little tiger balm on my neck last night, and still real bad. And try some TMC 2240 drivers at 36 volts for my 0.2. Interesting. I was tempted to start pushing my 0.2 a little harder, but I'm just gonna get it. It really just needs to be repaired. A good overhaul. I don't care. Siri, don't. Only ever responds in the middle of a stream, I swear. Alright. I hate hammerheads. I'm not using hammerheads. I don't like these things. Roll-in nuts are the way to go. Roll-ins are always the way to go. Where are my M3 roll-ins, though? They're here. I know they're here. I just used them. There they are. Always listening. If you're running stacked monitors, it's been destroying my neck, migraine pain. I do run stacked monitors, so that's potentially part of the problem. Potentially part of the problem. Bloop. Maker Viking, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Why do you not like hammerheads? Because half the time they don't rotate and they don't actually lock in nicely. And then you loosen something up and then it just falls out of place. When all you wanted to do was loosen it and slide it so it was like in better position. That's why. Staring down at 3D printers. I honestly think that's probably more so my problem this week. Because I've been working on this thing a lot. So I'm not like... I'm looking down a lot. I think that's part of the problem. I do think. And then I worked on my 2.4 doing that Hotend swap and some maintenance stuff to it this week. I tried printing 85A from Soraya Tech on my 2.4 and it just spaghettied inside of the Galileo 2. And so that's where when I tore it down, because I had to completely tear the tool head down to repair that, to get the filament out of it. So that's why I swapped the hot end on it. I was like, I'm here. Let me do it. How many printers are you up to? I'm actually not... I've been getting rid of them lately. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13... Somewhere around 15, 16, something like that. I got rid of a handful recently. Alright. Getting this onto here. There we go. All right, now we just slide this up to meet the motor. It's floating below the motor. Addictive little hobby. Yes, it is. It just floats below the motor here. Because the motor is the belt tensioner on this, so it needs to be able to slide back and forth. But once it... Pretty good. And it'll just blow up across our heatsink and the body of the motor. I mean, this is also an aluminum bracket that the motor's mounted to, which is going to have a cooling effect, a heat sinking effect. Alright, that's that. That's on there at least. Fan needs a cover. I was debating making a cover that goes down around it and maybe extends down as a way to keep your yeah. I was debating designing a body cover. I don't know. I gotta play with that. I might design that. We'll see. At the moment, I kind of just want to get this thing running, and worry about those little details later. These fans are 12 volt. Let me check my power supply. I'm going to power up the fan real quick so you can hear it. It's at 12 volt. It's currently at 12 volts. The fan's upside down. Nothing will fall in there. More so thinking about reaching inside of the machine and getting my hands near it. So it is a Delta server fan, but honestly, it's a 6,500 RPM fan, so it's really not bad. But it is, the blades on it are aggressive. So here we go. Here's the sound of it. This is actually shockingly quiet, and I can feel the air like I'm 1.5 feet away from it back here. I can feel the air splashing off of it. So it's surprisingly quiet. I can always upgrade these, of course. Yeah. All right. And then once... could be the heatsink reducing sound bounce as well. Honestly, these were even quieter before they were mounted to the fan mount, because the fan mount has a grill, and then that grill creates a noise with the fans being right there. Once this is enclosed and the motors are running, I don't think you're even going to hear those fans. So I also got fans for the chamber. I got a pair of CUI fans from DigiKey for the chamber cooling that are mounted down here in the side now. I put those on last night. Once you get the panels on, though, I doubt you'll hear them over the 4010s. Yeah, I bet the 4010s are going to be louder. I didn't order the most crazy 4010s. Like, I know Honey Badger, Fabrico has, like, big time, super fast, like 10,000 RPM 4010 fans. I did not order those. I ordered the basic ones because I can't stand that. The Fabrico 4010s, yeah. I can't stand that noise. So, and I'm going to have dual auxiliary part cooling on this. So I was okay giving up a little bit of airflow on the 4010 fans to have a more manageable day-to-day sound. Noctua needs to make smart part cooling fans. You're not wrong. But honestly, the fans that I have down here in the chamber for the electronics bay cooling, these are CUI fans. They're 60 millimeter, 60-25s, 60 millimeter by 25 millimeters. And they seem to move what feels like a pretty good amount of air. And they are quiet. They're like 16 decibels. They're actually quieter than Noctua's. They move a slight bit less air. Like, my 2.4 has Noctua brown 60 millimeter fans for the chamber cooling and electronics chamber cooling. And the CUI fans are quieter, but maybe move just slightly less air. They're like a Noctua with the low noise adapter, but they're 24 volt. So we don't have to run everything at full speed all the time. And I have no intention of running things at full speed all the time, personally. Like, this is, I'm sure this thing... Oh, for side air. What am I using for the side air? You mean the auxiliary part cooling? I'm actually using bamboo fans. The bamboo part cooling fans. They're just 120 millimeter blower fans. But I found in the P1S and the X1 that I have, they are shockingly, like, really solidly quiet for what they are. And so I had a spare one, actually. So I just ordered one more of these, and that's what I'm going to run for the auxiliary part cooling fans on this. Well, I'm not using the fan ducts. I'm actually taking the fan out of here. I just haven't taken the fan out of this one yet. This is the actual duct assembly that's going in here. So, different top. I got to change this out. If the belts go smoothly, maybe we'll get these installed yet today, but I doubt it. Yeah, well, yeah, it already exists. This wasn't my design. I remixed it. This is an existing design available on printables right now. Trident auxiliary part cooling setup. I pretty heavily remixed it for my own wants and needs, but it does exist already. And I probably won't release the design, as I don't know how transformative my design was. Sometimes I just like to tweak things to my own taste, and I don't really want to step on somebody else's toes when I've only made minor tweaks to designs. That one I actually tweaked a fair bit, but there were a few errors in its design, but we'll see. Maybe I'll release that one. Maybe I'll release that one, I don't know. Okay. Alright, belt time. Now we get to talk about what's wrong with this freaking this 6mm or 9mm carriage. Okay, so this AliExpress 9mm belt carriage here. Can anybody guess what's wrong with it? Because Double T watched the last stream and spotted the problem almost immediately. He called it out in the stream, and I was like, no, it's fine. We have to have a different tension mechanism, yes. I think the Leviathan only does 5-volt and 24-volt fans. I'm probably going to have to end up putting a secondary fan control system in here. I've got so many fans in here at this point. I think I'm going to end up having to do something something different. So I'm not 100%. The Leviathan so far, it's a beautiful board, but it has it doesn't have quite enough ports on it for me. Fans ports mainly. I could use a handful more fan ports, because I'm going to have 2 auxiliary part cooling fans, the fan for the stepper driver cooling, the side chamber electronic fans, of course the hot end stuff's going to be on the can board, and then these extra fans at the back, and Nevermore. Looks like it's missing a few screws. Yes, it is. Okay. The problem here is some folks say, oh, is it the 6mm belt version? No, but kind of. It is a 9mm belt version of this thing. This is a 9mm one, and it is designed, the teeth in it are for 9mm belt. That's all well and good. The problem is, all they did to make it work, I should probably just pop it off here and show you. All they did to make it work, working blind here. The joys of content creation. Half the time you're working on things, you're not actually looking at them. Good thing I was used to being an auto tech and a fabricator, welding in places I couldn't see and whatever. Okay. So the teeth on the back are cut for 9mm belt. This is a little length of 9mm belt I cut off. And the slot in the middle, plenty good for 9mm belt to pass through. But what do you notice when I put that on there? What goes missing? The hole for the MGN 12 rail intersects where the belt is. Screw holes go through the belt. Yep. And the way this is designed, the belt is supposed to go through, come out through the middle, and then clamp on the face of it. So it has to pass through those screws. They clearly never actually assembled this setup. Like, whoever made this made it and never assembled it. Not once. Because that would become very clear. The Vitali design has slots over here outside of where the MGN mounting screws are. So that works. Yeah, they might have bolted this up onto something, just be like, all right, our hole spacing's good, but they clearly took somebody's design, made it, and never thoroughly tested it. So, like I said, I talked to Vitali. I've talked to him a couple times today, actually. Vitali is working on a 9mm version of his. No, this is not Chaotic Lab. This is nobody name brand. This is like Funzor sells it now, but when I bought it, Funzor wasn't even selling it. It's just a no-name CNC gantry. It was just the only 9mm CNC gantry. It is, Funzor sells this exact one now, but they didn't sell it when I bought it. It was some shop that had no real name. It's just AliExpress, whatever. Funzor does have it now, and the Funzor one has the exact same problem. The Funzor one is the same. So what I'm going to have to do, there's two things I could do here. One, I can just engage the belt like just short of the screw hole and it'll work. But that is going to be such a nightmare to get it on here. Like to bolt it onto here, forget it. It's going to be so I'm behind. That happens. Mine, like my feed on one of my computer setups here always falls behind for some odd reason. I don't know why. What I think I'm going to do is narrow the belt at the end. I'm probably going to split the belt down the end of it a little bit and then bring it around and lock it into here. Just so it's like 4mm wide where it goes into the belt clamp. And all that's really doing, if I do that, when I do that, I'm going to do that. All it will do is allow me to assemble this, because the belt's still engaged by like 4 or 5 teeth on the back of this thing. I'm not worried that the belt's going to rip out of here. Long term, I would be. I wouldn't want to run it long term. But for me to get this machine together and running, I'm not worried about it. Vitali's working on a 9mm that'll be better thought out. And I'll swap to that when it becomes available. It's just not available right now. So, yeah. You want like 7 teeth in there. Yeah, I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will have 6 when this is put together. Oh, well. It's hot in here. 1 second. I got to turn the AC up. Ugh. So, yeah. The joy of a joy of all that stuff. Okay, let's get to it. Start putting built in this thing. It's not going to be fun, but build a Milo, learn CNC, cut a new slot. Easy peasy. You're not wrong, and really wishing I had a Milo right now. So here's what I'm doing. The oh-so technical setup of just splitting a belt down the middle. Living life on the edge. Exactly. Making some AliExpress garbage work. That's what I'm doing. I have the 6mm version as well, and that does not seem to be... Basically, they took the 6mm version, which should not have the same problem, and they just cut bigger teeth in it for 9mm belts. But then they just didn't think about the implications of that. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Yeah. All right. Which way do I need this oriented when this is in here? I'll start with the bottom belt, so I can cut off the bottom portion of this. Ever considered building a rat rig machine? Yes, very much. I'm very, very, very interested in building a rat rig. So hopefully, I've got a couple more Vorons to get done, and then I need to branch out. I need to get out of just building Vorons. I've become a Voron guy, just de facto. But I'm not part of the Voron team or anything, so why am I only building Vorons? I don't know. Just where things have landed. Honestly, I still think a plastic part would be better than aluminum anyway. I don't know about that. I'm honestly starting to lean toward putting aluminum carriages on everything. I feel like that's the most stressed component in the system and makes a lot of sense. Sounds like Voron needs to hire you. I mean, there's no real employees of Voron. It's not really a company. It is technically a company. There is a company. God, I'm really red. I'm getting so warm. I want to branch out. I want to start playing with other stuff. So it's going to happen. We'll see when. All right, so I got to start at this end. We shall see. All right, let's start at this end. Am I going the wrong way? No. Team of volunteers. Yes, it is a team of volunteers. Yeah, there's no business there, so I'm going to start branching out soon. I got to get a couple Vorons done, and then I'm going to start playing with some other stuff. We will. We will get there. We will get there. All right. Ah, that is smooth. That is smooth. I gotta feed the belt from... this is annoying. Core XYs are so fun to belt. I usually avoid belting on live or even filming the process of belting because it's so annoying. But I figured, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself a little bit and do it tonight. I'll try and challenge myself a little bit. How well it's going to work, I don't know. Usually I use a screwdriver, a hex wrench, and reach in and kind of just push the belt where it needs to go to start the turn in the corner and whatever, but there's not a lot of room on this 9mm setup. There's not a lot of room in here. Almost. Like I can just barely fit a hex wrench between the pulley and the... can I reach in through here? Yeah, that I can do. There we go. I can reach in through the motor area and hook the belt and then pull it where it needs to go. Okay, that's progress. There we go. Alright, you folks can't see shit there. Let me move the camera quick. Not like we can yell at Steve for this either. Nope, this is not Steve's fault. And honestly, this is nobody's fault. It's the pain you undertake when you're trying to cram a lot of stuff into a small package. Like, it's not like Double T did anything wrong here. It's just a lot of stuff in a small package. Happy Pi Day. Oh yes, Happy Pi Day, everybody. Happy Pi Day, everybody. It still blows your mind that Vorons are 100% free and just open source, and yeah. I mean, even like rat rigs are open source. You could self-source a rat rig, and that's a business. You can do that. They are a business, and they sure do like it if you were to buy your stuff from them, I'm sure. But 10 pounds of stuff, an 8-pound sack, yeah, pretty much. But it's a wedding anniversary. Chose the day because we're huge nerds. All right. We got married on Friday the 13th. We chose Friday the 13th. Well, obviously it won't be Friday the 13th every year, but we chose October Friday the 13th. Small space, just like hot rodding. Exactly. Nothing I'm unfamiliar with. Nothing I'm personally unfamiliar with, so. Yeah. When we realized, like, we kind of landed on getting married in October, and then we were like, well, that's really like cliche to get, spooky kids to get married in October. And then we realized that there was a Friday the 13th in October 2023, and we were like, okay, we have to do that. Like, we're legally obligated to. got married on Leap Day. Oh, then you only have to celebrate your anniversary once in a while. That's great. I have a friend who was born on Leap Day. She just celebrated her birthday, and I'm like, oh, happy, like, 7th birthday. All right. Belt 1 is the through-ish. Through-ish. Interested in seeing some potential fabrication content here? Check my other channel, Hot Rod Hippie, my 3rd channel. I've got years worth of fabrication content on Hot Rod Hippie. Ugh. Ba ba ba. Boop. I can't type. It's this angle. I'm like at a bad angle on this keyboard. Bloop. Dropped it in the chat. Heard anything about Formbot kits? I've heard great things about Formbot kits. I mean, not great things. I've heard good things if you're looking to build a machine that you want to tweak and tune and play with. I've heard good things. I've yet to build one. I kind of reached the point. I don't. I'm just reaching the point where I don't want to keep building Vorons. So like Physect offered to send me they have like a new 2.4 kit, and they're like, oh, we'd like to send it to you for review. And I was like, thank you very much. No. Like, I appreciate that, but I'm done doing reviews. I'm done building so many Vorons. I would like to do that. I would, but all right. Belt side 1. I gotta go 1 tooth further. Boop. So you can kind of see where I'm at here now. I got the narrowed out belt going through the belt belt clamp. Ship of Theseus. Definitely a Ship of Theseus thing, sure. Yeah, Vorons can be that way. Can get that way. I'm gonna nip the corner off this real quick because the way it wants to fall, it's gonna nip into this just a bit. Into that screw location. Get off there, little nub. Boom. Okay. All right, I think I can tighten that on there now. Cool. Good. Now my screw hole is clear. I can set this onto here. I'm gonna bolt it up real quick just so I can pull some tension on the other side. Aren't all printers that will accept bamboo? I mean, my bamboo is starting to be Ship of Theseus. So most bamboos are not, but mine is questionable. Ah. I can't see where this hole is. I'm gonna switch camera angles so I can actually see what I'm doing. You went from, hey, someone send me free printer to review to, I'm flooded with printers, please stop. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, and I think that's pretty much the journey that everybody takes when this stuff happens. I know I'm biased, but I really like the MPX kit. Feels like LDO quality at a Formbot price. I've not looked into MPX kits. Is that the Magic Phoenix, you mean? Are there any other CNC gantries for the 6mm setup? Yes, there is the Common Anomaly gantry. Is the Common Anomaly gantry. Freaking gorgeous piece of kit. Let me pull it up real quick. That's what's going on my next 2.4 build. My next 2.4 build is getting a common anomaly gantry. Let me screen share real quick. Scene 3. Boop. Common anomaly gantry. So this gorgeous cast I think it's cast and then CNC machine to finish. But so you got CNC XY joints, you got a CNC gantry. I believe it's similar in weight to the existing gantry. Because it's not like super hollowed out or anything. There's still a fair bit of metal to it. There's also, you can add on, there's mounting points for a titanium backer on it too. I'm putting this on, I was tempted to put this on my 2.4 just to upgrade that machine, but it's going on my, I have one here, I just don't feel like going and digging it out. On my my new 2.4 build, the next one that I'm going to be doing. Switch the OBSBot camera for a minute. Oh, excuse me. Alright. Zoom. Yeah, kinda. Have that waiting for my 2.4 overhaul project, but it's prints so nice, I'm afraid to mess with it. I get that. I'm kind of there with my 2.4 as well. Like, mine prints really well, but I know it has issues, but it prints really well. Yeah, like my 2.4 has enough issues where I'm like, it really needs an overhaul. But, yeah. I'm there with you. I'm there with you. Okay. I need to pull this belt kind of tight so I can then split it where I need to. I'm going to leave it a little long. I've got plenty of belt. Kind of figure out where I'm at here. Okay, now I've got to split this. I left it probably a lot longer than I needed to, but trim it down. Mark where I need to split to. Have I used the Neptune 4 much since last video? No, I really haven't. It's collecting dust at the moment. And it's not really... I want to get back to messing with it. I've got linear rails to put on it. Wrong camera. I gotta change scenes. I've got linear rails to put on the Neptune 4 Max. I've got linear rails to put on it. Honestly, mine was just having a really bad first layer, continually bad first layers, and I kind of complained to Elegoo and was like, hey, look, this thing has a problem. Quite a few people have run into the same problem. Why am I so red? And they did a firmware update. I haven't checked lately. I don't think they've really been updating the firmware very consistently on it. And I kind of just got fed up with it for a little bit, and they sent me, out of nowhere, they sent me a whole new complete tool head for it. Like, extruder, hot end, fans, part cooling, all that. I have no idea why. They never told me, they never said anything, it just showed up. Kind of how they send a bunch of people Orange Storm Gigas without saying anything. I want to get back to using it. I need to get a bigger machine back up and running, so... Open Neptune 4 on mine is so much better. Okay, I haven't looked into that yet. I'll look into that. So yeah, I've got linear rails to put on it. I actually got them I was going to upgrade my Neptune 3, but that was before the Neptune 4 came out, the 4 Max and 3 Max. But then before that came out, I was going to upgrade my Neptune 4 Max, then the 3 Max. Now I'm going to put them on the 4 Max, but kind of waiting on... Gets rid of all the Elegoo stuff and just puts regular clipper on. Okay, I'll look into it. Maybe I'll probably do a live stream when I put the linear rails on it. Maybe we'll do a live of messing around with it, like swap to the. Ah, shit! That's not what I meant to do. I didn't mean to pull that. Ah! Everything fell. I didn't mean to take the belt clamp off. I meant to take the damn. I meant to take the other thing off. The carriage. Dough. Dough. I took the wrong screw out because I wasn't looking what I was doing. There we go. This is what I wanted to take out. And this. Okay, get the carriage off, and then I can figure out the belts. I just need an eMMC to USB adapter. I think I have one here already. A lot of machines are starting to come with eMMC now, so I've been getting those. All right. I even look like I accidentally split it to just the right point. Go me. Go me. Okay, now I can bolt this to the carriage. No, I will not be running Mini Sherpa or CNC Mini Sherpa. The extruder I'll be running is a VZ Hextrudort. The VZ Hextrudort. So the CNC aluminum VZ bot extruder / Mirage extruder. That's the one I'm going to run first. Like I said, part of the reason I'm going to run Zoll is so that I can swap parts to test and play and whatever. So I've who knows how long the Hextruder will be on. It might be a week for all I know. But that's what I'm starting with. I've had it for ages and I haven't put it on anything, and I feel like this is a good one to go with. Very similar. Yeah, they are similar to the similar-ish. I can get a few more teeth out of this. I need to cut this back just a hair further. I can get a few more teeth out of this. I need to maximize, since I don't have a lot of room to pull this thing because of the way I'm doing this, so I'm just gonna have to totally do fresh belts whenever I get to a good 6 or 9mm belt setup. Is what it is. I knew that. Going from an Ender 3 to a Neptune 4 Plus is a big upgrade for me. Yeah, I totally see that. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good there with those machines, and I really do think they're still a good value for what they are. I just had enough problems with the Formax that I couldn't justify continuing to work with it for a little bit. Sometimes when I'm producing projects and videos, that type of stuff really eats up a lot of time, and I just can't do it all the time. For right now, I'm going to throw on the generic double panel door, the basic one, but I'll probably end up going with the clack door. I've got a clack door kit here already for my other 2.4, but it's got black extrusions, so it won't match this. I just think Elegoo botched the firmware. I don't disagree. I think I don't think they did themselves any service with that. They did. I mean, they did some good stuff with it. They're like working with their interface really. Like their screen interface and everything works really well overall. So I don't know. Okay, now I can put a couple screws in here and I can work on the other belt. line up that. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Cool. All right. One belt in. One belt in. Definitely loose. I could probably pull the tooth tighter up there. We'll worry about that in a little while. I still got plenty of... the motor, the tensioner is, of course, fully untensioned right now. Have you been sent whatever the Cheaty printer is? Yeah, I have it. I have the new Cheaty printer, and next Thursday we'll be unboxing it live. The new Cheaty printer, it's in the box. I haven't touched it. I'm going to be live unboxing it next... I will say if you're going for a clack, you're going to want to modify the touch mount to pull it out 20 millimeters. That's a large part of why I haven't planned to go clack yet. I really love the way these skirts look, and I really don't want to do that yet. That's also why I haven't done it on my 2.4 yet as well. So, I do have the new Cheaty printer. I'm not allowed to say anything more than I have it. And next Thursday I will be unboxing it live here. So just like I am working on this tonight right now, next week I'll be unboxing the brand new Cheaty printer. So what is the new Cheaty printer? It's a new Cheaty printer. That is all I can say. I literally cannot legally say anything more. So okay, next belt. Not even the name, not even the name. I can't say anything. Nope, I am under contract to not say a damn thing. Just the way it goes these days. Like, I get it. I'm honestly amazed that NDAs and all that didn't become a bigger deal in the 3D printing world a lot sooner. Did they say the name already? I'm not going to say it. If somebody can find it, I'll confirm it if you find it. If you find the name and you put it in the chat, I'll confirm it. But I won't say it. I don't have a moment to really look right now. So Q1 on their site. Okay, that is it. That is the name of the new machine. Q1. That is the name. You got it. You got it in one. Q1 Pro. That is it. You are correct. So we will be unboxing the new Cheaty Q1 Pro this time next week on this stream. So this same bat channel, same bat time, we will be unboxing that machine here. You could walk past the box with your tracking camera. It's on the other side of the studio. If you watched my last YouTube video on Mandic Really, there's at some point in last week's video, last week's like the shipping station video with the IKEA hacking. At some point in that video, there you can see a box in the background with googly eyes on it. That's it. Yeah, at some point in that video there's like a random covered up box in the background with googly eyes on it, and that's the wow, letter and number. How original. I know, right? Something one? Wow. I don't know. I can say I'm intrigued and interested. I really can't say. I don't want to be spilling beans here. I really can't say. We're 7 days away from when I can tell you about it and show you everything. Actually, it's 6 days away. The embargo lifts on next Wednesday, but I'm going live next Thursday. So I think Grant's going to be unboxing his on that Wednesday. Come on, you can do it. Trying to push this belt through here. pain. Nah, of course you can't see that angle. Ah! Just trying to shove the belt through this front pulley setup here. Don't want to get you trouble, yeah. Googly eyes do make everything better. I'm interested, like my X Plus 3. Cool. I really liked the X Max. I got rid of it. I got rid of the X Max 3 just because I needed to make room. I really pained about whether or not to get rid of it. I did eventually end up getting rid of it. Just... error. Because I'm planning to build... My next 2.4 is going to have chamber heating. So I was like, I'm going to have what I liked about that machine with the new 2.4, and I just can't keep everything. Come on. Come on. You can do it. If it doesn't do anything new like the Magneto X, then I don't really care. Understandable. I've got to make some time to mess with the Magneto X. I actually updated the firmware on it today. There's a firmware update they gave us. So I updated the firmware on it today. Come on. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I updated the firmware on the Magneto X today, but I haven't had time to mess with it beyond that. Ha! There we go, belt. I'd like to do a stream with it soon. I've got an enclosure to put on it so I can start printing ASA with it. I just haven't had time to put it on. So maybe we'll make some time for a stream soon and do that. All right. Why is that so tough? Oh, it's squeezing between this pulley. We all know how it goes. Someone will do it the day before. There'll be drama and Nathan will drive to a shop. I make no comments. Everybody I know who has one, I think will be pretty good about it, but I don't know for sure. Come on. Keeps wanting to walk down here. All right. Genuinely think reviews should be done in the back of a car. Sure. 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 All right. Let's split this belt. This feels so wrong. Because it is. It's really not how things should be done, but here we are. All right. Come on. All right. The shears I'm using, these shears, they are Quinn shears, but they're I forget where I got these from. I've had shears just like these for a long time, but mine were getting pretty dull after many years. If I didn't live stream this, how long do you think it would take me to build? A quarter of a time. I'd have been done days ago. There's been a couple of days this week. Like yesterday, I wanted to stream yesterday, but then Nero was live in the morning. Or, no, Grant was live in the morning, I think. And then Daniel Modbot was live at night. And it just... There was no time in there for me to stream. I would have had to stream late at night. And I'm beating myself up, so... It didn't make sense to do. So I worked on, like, fiddly little stuff that I didn't want to make too much progress off stream, so I worked on like dumb design stuff and whatever. So, like after the last stream, somebody sent me the this angled pass through for cable gland, so I remixed it a bit to match this build a little better. It's gonna of course end up back here for the CAN cable and the Bowden tube. I did stuff like that yesterday. Ugh. I wish I could point my camera at my dog right now. She's being adorable. It's definitely a little warm in the studio, and you can tell. Let me see if you can see her. Hold on. Nah, that camera angle's terrible. That camera angle's terrible. Let's try this one. There we go. I'll switch camera angles real quick. There you go. She blends in with the carpet a bit. Has the bottom panel turned up? No, it is ordered. It shipped today. It did ship today. Jeez, yeah. I don't understand why, but my YouTube feed was 30 minutes behind the stream, and it started with everybody else's. That makes no sense. But yes, my bottom panel shipped today, so and that's going to put things on hold a little bit here. I'm probably gonna, I think tomorrow I'm gonna work on the 0.2 that I'm gonna build next. So I'm probably gonna work on the frame of the 0.2 off stream and then start building it on stream tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be cleaning up all of this, getting this machine out of the way, getting 0.2 machine going, and then streaming it probably tomorrow afternoon, I guess. We'll see. I want to work around Nero's stream, so. Change camera angle back. Oh, I'm sorry, doggo. I woke her up. I woke her up by messing with her. Have the cats stopped using the litter tray yet? No, actually, they've been using it much more than I expected they would. I was really worried I was going through all that effort and they weren't going to want to go into that box to use the litter box, but they've been using it maybe even more than the other one. We're probably going to, not probably, we are absolutely going to do something very similar to the other litter box. Like a different piece of furniture, but I'm going to put it inside of a cabinet like that. So, I know what you mean by that, though. I've had that happen in the past, but they have been using that one, actually. Nero's on early tomorrow. It'll be a short one because of school break with his kiddo. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for that information. So I'll probably do tomorrow afternoon then, working on the 0.2. Get that build going. I want to get both these machines... I want to get all of these machines that I've got backed up done ASAP. I got multiple machines I want done. Alright. Oh, this is so dumb and annoying, but it'll work. This will work. I swear it'll work. I just do not want to mess with these belts again for a minute. I think I can get another tooth out of this second belt. I want to snip that real quick. How can one achieve nozzle probe? Sensors on a bed? Sure. Load cell on the tool head. Nozzle sensors on the bed. Creality does sensors on the bed mounting. That's how they do it. Bamboo does something similar. Prusa, PO poly with the... It's so hard for me to say PO poly that way. PO poly with the Magneto X, they use a load cell on the tool head, as does Prusa. Have you printed a spoiler for this to make it go fast? No, no spoiler. No spoiler. Not a bad idea. I'll sticker bomb it. How about that? No, I won't. This thing's going to look too good. I'm not sticker bombing it. I couldn't do that. I couldn't bring myself to do that. Alright. Pull this around. This is so tight. Trying to get the belt as tight as I can before I tighten things here, so I don't have to use motor tensioners as I always try to do. Like, minimize how much I have to use the motor tensioner, of course. I think I just lost a tooth on the bottom one. I did. Gain that tooth back. Get this into here. Wrap around, and now I can put the belt clamp in. Could design a functional exhaust if you had a chamber. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't want a chamber. I don't want exhaust chamber heat. There's already a functional exhaust on the original Voron design, but it exhausts heat out of the chamber, which I do not want to do. Zoll bracket is still fiddly, but not as fiddly as this. Yeah, this is fiddly. This is fiddly, especially since I have to narrow these belts up. The Vitali one, I'm quite certain, would not be nearly as fiddly as this crap. But this is what I got to deal with for the moment. Okay. Okay. Now I should be able to spin that if I can get my fingers out of the way. Oh, this is annoying. This is the stuff I was worried about. Seems like you need a third hand, yeah. Well, this is one of those tasks where a third hand would be lovely, but also in the way at the same time, because two hands are in the way. Okay. One's through there and under. Second belt. I keep losing one tooth on the bottom one. And that's why I could have had it together by now, but I keep just skipping one tooth on the bottom, and I don't want to do that. Now I need to gain one tooth on the top. Come on. Bam. Alright. I just gotta loop this in here. Come on, you can do it. I gotta loosen up this screw a little bit, I think. Could run the exhaust after the print. Yeah, it does make sense for that. I like to actively filter while printing, personally. This is getting a Nevermore for charcoal filtration while printing. The Voron exhaust does have charcoal filtration in it, yes. You stack charcoal filter elements in it. Alright. I still lost one tooth on the bottom one. God damn it. Ow, my hand is cramping. It's also always a lot easier when 80 people aren't watching. No, it's not. It's not easier when 80 people aren't watching. The problem with the third hand is comes with a second head. Yeah, you're not wrong, and then you're dealing with that. Pull this. All right, that ought to do. Everybody's best friend, a pair of pliers. Cool. That worked. All right, now I can bolt this. 80, missing some likes. Oh no. We could expect the first print on a Benchy in 2 hours? Sure. on a machine, not this one, and not the Creality Ender 3v3, but, you know, a machine, sure. Okay, now, this belt needs to be tensioned up a bit. I think I need to tighten the grub screws on this motor so I can get this tight as it needs to be. So I gotta twist this machine so I can see what I'm doing. Mew. One of the cats is in now. Hi, Gene. Did you want to come say hi to everybody? You did? Is that what you said? Come here. Gene wanted to say hi? You want to say hi to everybody? Yeah? Hi. Say hi. Silly. Silly. Silly, silly, silly. Okay. Tea out of the way. Yeah, baby girl, I hear you. I don't know what you're talking about, but I hear you. All right. All right. I'll switch to the OBSBot camera. Should have a perspective on this. Not especially. If I turn a little more, yeah, I might be able to see. Let me change this. Bloop. Back off a little bit. All right. Hygiene, yeah. Every time I say that to her, I think about that. I think about that often. That's how her name works out. Ugh. What you doing, kiddo? Why are you... Go lay on the couch, kid. Go lay on the couch, baby girl. What X carriage is that? The carriage piece? A random no-name AliExpress one that has issues. We discussed that earlier in the stream. It's got problems. It's got problems. The 6mm one seems a lot better. I don't know for sure, but it does seem better. Alright. Oh, I need a 2mm hex key. This here, try to get the belts tracking where they need to be so I can line up this pulley as I'm dropping it. I also can't really see what I'm doing, and you probably can't either. All right. That's good enough for the moment. Good enough for the moment. Tighten the other grub screw, just so I can move on. This is the top one, so it was falling down so much. This is basically the Funzor one for the IDM probe. Yes, I did not buy it from Funzor. I bought it from somebody else selling it before Funzor had it. But it effectively is the Funzor one, yes. Funzor is selling the same one. That's such a weird word to say, Funzor. Feels like a knockoff cheapy clown that you would not want at your birthday party. It's like the John Wayne Gacy of 3D printer parts. Tighten this one too. Carrie, thank you for being here. We will catch you in the next one. Always appreciated, dear. Always appreciated. All right. And I get to cut this belt down to size. What makes this different than your 2.4? The fixed gantry. The bed on a Trident travels up and down, whereas the entire gantry travels up on the 2.4. So it should theoretically be more rigid and therefore possibly higher speed and performance in this configuration. So theoretically. Theoretically. What are your plans for this machine? Realistically, just to be another production machine to get parts done for projects in videos. But, I mean, that's really the primary goal of it. But I also plan to play around with it and push it faster and harder than I would be capable of doing on some of my other machines. I want it to be a higher speed printer, as well as being a test platform that I can maybe try different hot ends and extruders on. Give a good platform to test things on that won't be limiting. You know, like my 2.4 is both more difficult to swap parts on, as well as, oof, I hope that reaches. I might have just cut that a little short. Of course. Is the Hydra Merc 1 worth upgrading? I don't know. I haven't built one. Mine's not done Hydra. I didn't do Hydra mod on mine, and I don't have any intention of doing so. It seems like a nice setup. I just don't feel like going through that. And the board I put in that doesn't have enough stepper drivers. It should, the Hydra mod should. I just made dual Z. Yeah, my Ender 5 Plus is already dual Z. That was kind of where I was like, I don't feel like messing with this. I'm going to add a 1515 extrusion to my V0 for a little rigidity. Cool. You did Hydra with a 410 by 410 bed. All right. I'm just making maximum use of my stock Ender 5 bed, because the stock Ender 5 bed is bigger than 350 by 350. That it, you know, specs to be. It's bigger than that. So it's more like, boy, this is just going to reach where I want it to. All right. Let's get this off of here, and then I get to get... I'm going to leave it in this orientation for right now, because I need to see what I'm doing on this. Awesome! Updated files for the skirt design are up on Printables. I will drop that onto my Twitter or something later. Awesome, Christian. Good night. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I got my Ender 5 Plus to 360 by 360. Bed size is 370 by 377. Yeah, mine, I'm using like, I think I'm at like 360 by like 365 or something like that. I'm making maximum use of the bed on that right now. Well, right now I'm not doing anything with it. It needs a little work, but I set it up so it could be that much. Wow. I might have cut this belt just too short. Let me make sure I'm routed well, like there's not catching anywhere, so I can make up any length if I can. Honestly, I don't think this one's making it to the belt clamp. I'm going to use a pair of pliers, pull it tight, and then clamp it with the carriage. This is where I could really use 3 hands, or 4. This is where I need an assistant, because right now, pulling this belt tight. Sometimes what I'll do when I'm tightening Core XY belts is use a pair of pliers and twist them like this to pull just a little more tension on it while I'm about to screw it in. As I ding my Apple Watch off the frame. It's still ringing. All right. Come on. Don't cross thread. Just line up. Yeah. You can do it. Boom. All right. Okay. Think we might have gotten this belted. Mini Voron, that'd be the V0. I'm sorry, I didn't see most of the conversation previous, so I might have missed something, but a Mini Voron to me is the fat belts are fat. Yes, they are. Fat belts are awful fat. They are thick, all right. All right, a little Loctite on this. Just because it's temporary setup, I'm still gonna print with the way this is. I'm not worried about it. Like we're gonna run this thing with the belts this way. What's the worst case scenario? It rips a belt and crashes a tool head. That'll make an interesting stream, won't it? That'd be a good clip if the belt rips. That'd make a good clip. Why not 12mm belts? Spacing, fitting it. Point of diminishing returns, probably. I didn't design this. Double T did. I don't think Double T's here tonight, though. Ugh. But I would say you're probably at a point of diminishing returns with 12mm belt then. Could be wrong. All right. Why is this not starting? Oh, it got stuck on the belt. Don't think a 2020 frame could handle 12mm belts. I'm honestly slightly concerned that the forces that this is going to generate are going to be weak on this gantry, and like, you know, these are factors. We do start to over engineer things at a certain point. Maybe you got to start looking at a rat rig. Maybe I'll do a rat rig with 12mm belts since they come with 9mm belt stock. Do a rat rig with the 30/30 extrusions that they have, that they run. Okay, tighten these screws real quick. Tight, tight, tight. All right. All right. Make sure the belt tension or the belt clamp's tight. Okay. All right, all right. We got belts. We are belted. We are belted. We belted it out. Honestly, that went smoother than I expected it would. I thought for sure that was going to take a lot longer. What time is it? 8:30. All right. I thought that was going to take a lot longer than it did. We got belt. Belt. What's that TikTok meme? Belt. Brent. Brent, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. All right, we got our part cooling on the motor on. Is this camera? Yeah. We got chunky belts. Gosh, those look so big on camera. Like here in person, I keep looking at them and being like, they're not that big. Like they're not so big, are they? But looking at it on camera, okay, they're chunky. They're chunky belts. Excuse me. I'll show you some of the design concession that exists for this belt setup, by the way. Change cameras. Boop. I'm hoping, I sure hope that if we get all done this and I got some like nasty, awful input shaper graphs, I'm going to be so annoyed. I'm going to be so annoyed. We'll find out. We will find out. Okay, spinning us around. To show you folks. Oh, my neck is angry. Okay, other camera angle. Design concession of 9mm belt setup. So, right here, this extrusion, if you're not familiar with the Trident, sticks back past the gantry. So I actually had to cut that at like a 45-degree angle there and notch the corner off of it because this belt, both of the belts, the top and bottom belt, they ride just above the 2020 extrusion and just below the 2020 extrusion. You got to figure a few millimeters between the belts. Each of them is 9mm, so 18mm between the two of those. So this rides just below the gantry extrusion. As such, it would have collided with the corner of that extrusion if I didn't make that design change. That's part of this kit. I didn't do that. I did that, but I was not the one who came up with that. Double T, that's part of like the instructions that Double T lists for doing this, that you have to do that. So there, that corner got nipped off there. That's really the only frame. That's the only frame modification that had to happen to get the 9mm on. Everything else is just part of the kit. The CNC parts or whatever that go with the kit. So spin this back around. I have to buy more tools to do 9mm. I mean, you could file it. You could just hand file it. Realistically, it would just be time consuming. I just used a chop saw and just nicked off the corner of that and got me done. These skirts look so good. And we got belts. So we got 9mm belts. Holy crap, is that belt pulling me tight. Whew. That is so out of square right now. Ay, ay, ay. The belting pulled this so out of square. I'm gonna have to mess with this. It's way out. Like I can almost get a finger in back here. And it's against over here. All that belt tension on that one side from having to pull it into place. Not good. Not good. See if I can loosen these up at all and make a little tweak. I doubt it. I think they're all the way loose. All right, I just put my driver. Well, here's a hex driver. No, everything's riding in grooves. I checked and triple checked. I did that before I pulled tension. I just pulled too much tension on the belt. It's because I cut the one belt like a tooth or two, a couple teeth shorter than I should have, so I had to really pull tension on it. And I didn't do that on the other side, so it's pulling. It happens. My fault. It's my fault. I might end up having to replace the top belt and just get it a little better. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to end up replacing the top belt. Oh well. Live and learn, and you do it again. But not on stream. I think that's where I'm going to call it for tonight. It's a beautiful night out, and I'm going to take the doggo for a thingo. And we got belts. 3D Medic Vince, welcome. We got some big, chunky belts in place on this build. Can I? Yeah. Big chunk belt. Big belt is chunky. There is adjustment. There is tension adjustment, but both are fully loose right now, so I can't loosen that side. What needs to happen is the top belt needs to loosen. I can't do that. So there's no adjustment to loosen at this point. So it's fine. Congrats on the chunk belt. Yeah. Look at that. It's so chunky. Like you can see this little nub end here, I should have made this just a hair longer. It doesn't even reach the belt clamp. My fault. Is what it is. I'll cut a longer belt for that, and I will probably when I do, I'll square the gantry and maybe clamp the gantry to the back of the back so it can't go anywhere, and then belt it. That might make a better idea. We'll see. Just untighten the carriage and pull a tooth or two. I could. I mean, if I'm going to end up replacing the belt anyway, I guess I might as well. You're right. I don't want to because I'm going to lose grip that way. But you're right. If it's going to happen anyway, I might as well. Let me grab pliers so I don't just like lose that belt entirely when I loosen this. Ah, I lost that belt entirely. I lost that belt entirely. All right, let's get that back in there. Try it just a little more. 50% more beef. You're right, it is. 50% more a lot of things. 50% more pain in the butt. Is that what you said? Actually, it looks like I need to tighten this belt a hair. Loosening that did not make a difference. It's the other belt. Maybe it's pulling it tight. Kinda. I might actually be able to get a tooth or two out of this now. Huh. Come on. I'm losing it. It doesn't help at the end of this belt since it had to be necked down for this damn mount. This damn carriage is not happy. You can do it. I don't know. I'm worried I'm like tweaking on this too much. I'm a little worried I'm pulling on this a little too much. Let's loosen this up just a hair more so there's a little less in my way. Yeah, it's tearing the belt. The half belt. Alright. That belt now reaches the belt clamp. That's something. Loosen the bottom on a bit. I'm gonna put this in the clamp and then loosen it. Now, I pulled that one a little tighter so it'll actually reach the... Oh, actually. Boom. I just... Oh, fuck. This one went far enough that it's not... The full teeth are no longer in it. That's not good. That ain't gonna work. But that did exactly what I needed. It did do exactly what I needed, but it's not good. It did exactly what I needed, but it's not good. Ding. Fries are done. Okay. Get that a little tight. I'm going to loosen from the other side. It's a lot closer now to square. I'm going to put both these in a clamp, in the clamp. Now that this one reaches the clamp. Honestly, this probably would be fine if I just like ran it this way for a moment, let it break in a hair, and then squared it again, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking. It's really close now. I got like half of the distance that was there out. So I'm kind of thinking I might let it go, but let's try and get one tooth out of the bottom on this side. I'll probably regret this. I got one tooth. One wasn't enough. Let's try two. Come on. You can do it. I was so focused on if I could get the belts that I wasn't focused enough on squaring while getting the belts. Okay. That's a lot better. Now it's like motor tension off. So yeah, there's some tightening to do. You're right. And also there's belt break-in to do. Like, these are not nearly as tight as they should be right now. So a little playing with this, I'll be able to square it up. So, all right, we got belt. We got thick belt. It's going to have to get rebelted eventually when the new carriage exists and arrives. But I'll be able to put this together for now and run it. At least get some prints done, some test printing before I have to go replacing the carriage and the belts. It'll give me a good idea of where we're headed, I think. It'll let me get all the wiring done. Are idlers and pulleys supposed to have the same number of teeth? It depends on the diameter of them. If they're matched diameter, they should have the same number of teeth because that's the pitch of your belt relative. But most are generally not the same diameter, your motor pulley to your idler pulley. These are all smooth idlers on this. Doesn't have toothed idlers. You'll also probably replace that X-beam. Yeah, everybody keeps saying that. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. All right, folks, that's what we're going to call it for tonight. We got the belts on, which honestly I thought was going to go more difficult than it did. This is going to go, it went easier than I expected to. So, knock on wood. Yay. We got the second part cooling fan and heatsink on the motor. And that's probably going to be it for the streams on this for a minute. I might do a stream just putting together the Zoll. Depends on when the parts for the electronics bay show up. I got to check tracking tomorrow on them. If they're going to be here, then maybe I'll stream this weekend on this. If not, I'm going to be streaming the next couple days anyway. Tomorrow and Saturday, definitely. But it'll probably be the Voron 0.2. We're going to start on the 0.2 next. If you're not already, please subscribe to this channel. Drop it a like. All of that really helps out. This is a new channel, so we're trying to get it monetized so I can justify the time that I'm putting into all this stuff a little bit better. Because right now I'm not making any money doing this. So also, please consider patreon.com/mandicreally. Any support is greatly appreciated over there. And I will be back tomorrow. Same bat channel, not the same bat time probably. I think it'll be late afternoon probably. I'm expecting like 2-3 p.m. I think, but we'll see. Hopefully maybe we'll start like an afternoon stream and go into the evening tomorrow. We'll see. Not sure. All right, folks, thank you for being here. Thanks for coming around. You're awesome for hanging out with me and watching as I put on some chunky belts. See you all in the next one, folks.